Minister reviews issues causing hardship in Nigeria, says Tinubu has no control over them. Now to the news in full. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, has attributed the current hardship in Nigeria to past policies. Tuga, who made this known on Saturday during an interactive section with journalists in Bauchi, added that the hardship were also caused by other factors that the President Tinubu administration has no control over. He said, the economy of the country was seriously affected by the 2008 global financial meltdown that was followed by other unavoidable calamities that befell the world as a whole. We had the coronavirus pandemic, where borders were closed, movement of goods and services and people came to a halt, and so many people lost their lives, and that affected general cost of living all over the world, and Nigeria is not an exception, he recalled. But other people that were affected by the coronavirus have gone back to their lives and things are moving well for them. So why is Nigeria an exception? If it is not because that we have bad leaders in power that do not care, you are using what has happened since 2020, coronavirus since then, that every other state has gone through and they are still doing better for themselves. Yeah, why is Nigeria different? Why should we still be held down by what has happened for a very long time? We had the coronavirus pandemic where borders were closed, movement of goods and services and people came to a halt and so many people lost their lives, and that affected the general cost of living all over the world. And Nigeria is not an exception, he recalled. Because as the global economy has been developing, there has been a lot of leakages, trade between countries and movement of people across country. All of that were affected, so the price went up. Nigeria over the years has been importing the petrol that we have been using here. We had 4 refineries, one that was built in the 1960s in Port Harcourt, one, the second refinery in Port Harcourt, which is larger, and as we all know, the Kaduna refinery, and then of course we have the Warri refinery. These refineries were built when Nigeria's population was much smaller than it is today. Today we have a population of 220 million, which means the consumption of petrol has gone up, but we have not over the years been investing in expanding our refineries capacity. The minister explained that the current hardship was compounded when Nigeria started importing more petrol and the price of petrol globally was going up. The other issue is, of course, the exchange rate, which is equally affected by the subsidy, he observed. If we are subsidizing consumption and not subsidizing production, what we are doing over all these years only subsidizing consumption industry so that our industries will prosper. But unfortunately, a lot of money was going into subsidizing only importation of petroleum, which means that we are using hard currencies to import. When President Bola Tinubu came in office, he made a decision to institute macroeconomic reforms because even if we decide not to make those reforms, we cannot afford to be buying this expensive petroleum that we will be using on a daily basis and it just disappears. So President Tinubu embarked on reform, which means that we will no longer be subsidizing the importation of this petrol and at the same time instituted reforms to exchange rate operations. Tuga said there were different exchange rates for different purposes which created room for arbitrary practices. Some people were getting allocation of foreign exchange of dollars which they will not use to import the raw materials that industry requires but instead will sell it in the market and just put the money in their pockets, it disclosed. So President Tinubu closed the exchange rate so that we will have one exchange rate. While all of this was going on, the activities of cryptocurrency traders were undermining the system. There was in particular a cryptocurrency exchange that was taking advantage of these reforms and was using the opportunity to launder money. People who had stolen money and had kept it here in Nigeria were using cryptocurrency to take the money out, which meant that they were undermining the reforms that the Tinubu administration was carrying out, and that of course led to further hardship. That is why some of the individuals that were involved in these nefarious activities or representatives of the cryptocurrency traders has been arrested and have been charged to court. The minister explained that the president has been doing a lot to reduce the current hardship in the country with distribution of palliatives to citizens and fertilizers, inputs, seedlings, pesticides and so forth to farmers. We do not want palliative. We do not need the palliative. They should make the country better. Let the people be able to afford the basic things that they want by themselves. Stop giving us things. Stop distributing palliatives. Giving rice, 2 cup of rice, 2 cup of gari. What would that amount to? We want people to be dependent on you. No, we want to be able to afford these things by ourselves. Don't give us palliatives. Suga urged citizens to bear with the administration of President Bola Tinubu, assuring that although the reforms was the hard part, there is light in the horizon, there is a bright future. He stated that the reforms were something that the current administration had to do to safeguard the future of the country. We are beginning to feel the impacts, though it is slow, but we have to remember that Nigeria is not in isolation. This hardship is taking place all over the world, so we will continue to remain steadfast, he said. People should do something quickly about it because it is getting out of hand. If people are trying to reform the country, you should do so in a manner that it will not affect the country too much because it is affecting us too much. It is getting really, really hard. Also come here and they says that is what I like to hear, but that past government that put us into all this hardship should be held responsible. At least it's supposed to serve us, not to whip us all. Friday O'Malley says these people only know how to give excuses for their failure instead of delving on how to solve our problems. And that is what they should be thinking about. Think of solutions, think of ideas. Call on the youth, call on people that have ideas, that are intelligent, that are bright. Tell them to advise you. Don't just have this ego that, oh, I'm older, I can't take advice from somebody that is younger than me. No. You should be looking for solutions. Try to make solutions, feasible solutions that can work. And not just say that, oh, we should keep enduring. Enduring till when? When are we going to endure till? Till when? People should do something about this hardship of the country. Past policies indeed, Ismail says, they will never take responsibility. Thieves them. So they're always giving excuses for the past how many years now. Do something. Think of what to do to minimize the suffering of the country. Do something, I beg, please. Figurelink says, before the election, you were all saying how you will fix the problem of Nigeria. Now you are saying why the Nigerian problem cannot be fixed. Exactly, giving excuses. If you know that you cannot do something, why did you promise? Why did you say you are going to do this, you are going to do that? Meanwhile, you don't have any plans to do anything. Now you are giving excuses all the time. Please, they should do something about the hardship of the country. It is getting too hard. Let us see that bleak light at the end of the tunnel because we are not seeing anything. We are not. My listeners, over to you. Leave your thoughts in the comment section. Do not forget to like, to share, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for listening. See you some other time. Bye.